Yeah.
And the average cost for a commercial in last night's Super Bowl, nearly $4 million. CBS News analyst Frank Luntz brought together a group of viewers to see which ads worked and which ones didn't. Frank, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so you dial tested these, where people can turn their dial where they approve or disapprove of the ad, where they like it or dislike it. So what was the best ad?
The best ad, and it's been the best ad for many years, is Anheuser-Busch. It's pretty easy to make people laugh at a Super Bowl. It is very difficult to make them cry, and Anheuser-Busch delivered it with this ad you're about to see.
Yeah, that was when he raved, of course, at Clydesdale, and then the Clydesdale recognized him. I mean, that made everybody tear up and tugged at their heartstrings.
And then notice that green line. The women are even higher than the men. The key in a successful Super Bowl ad is that it doesn't divide an audience, it unites them. It's exactly the opposite of politics. Everyone's got to like it.
Exactly.
So maybe they need to put some more horses in politics and play that soundtrack. Which ad came in second?
The second was a car commercial, and that's very difficult to do. Normally car commercials are very boring and very dry. This one is the child asks a question of his father about where the babies come from, and then once again the reaction is incredibly positive.
For which car?
For Kia.
For Kia.
Now, you say that there was one ad your audience's least favorite. That was the Calvin Klein ad. Why did they not like it?
Do you really think that men watching the Super Bowl want to see other almost naked men? I mean, it's...
I don't know. Let's ask Charlie. He's the man at the table. Charlie, do men at the Super Bowl want to see naked men?
No, they want to see Beyonce.
Yes, they do.
And we did this with AOL, and we sat people in the studio, and they reacted to all the ads. There was some disappointment that the ads were not seemingly as good this year as last year. The problem is our expectations are so high that we want to laugh at everything, we want to cry at everything, and if it doesn't immediately grab us in the first 5 seconds...
I love the ad about the farmers with Paul Harvey's voice.
But the problem is that no one knew that it's Paul Harvey's voice. What has now happened is, remember, the key demographic is 18 to 49-year-olds. Paul Harvey doesn't mean anything to that segment. We talked about the...
I don't see why knowing Paul Harvey is important to that segment. I just thought he had a great voice, and I knew him, and he's now deceased. But it was a wonderful evocative sense of America.
Evocative sense if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s. The voices that we respond to today is different. Oprah did the voiceover for the Jeep ad. Incredibly powerful and really emotional. Fans loved it, but it was a 2-minute ad. It's the reason why we didn't bring it here. When you talk about the troops, everyone has a positive reaction.
Third favorite?
Third favorite is the Oreo ad. Oreo ad.
Yes.
And that's because you used a common setting that everybody would recognize. We had to be really quiet to hear the ad. And by the way, that's very powerful because fans are watching it, and they're eating, and they're using the facilities, and they're drinking, much like your crew is right now. And so you've got to do something that is completely unexpected, and that's what happened here in the Oreo ad.
Our crew is not eating and drinking. They're sitting here working. They've been standing all morning.
I'm sorry, that was
drink.
last night's crew.
That was...
What about the Dafoe, the actor?
Not distinguishable. And by the way, there's some ads that were run, companies ran multiple ads. Pepsi did this, Anheuser-Busch did this, Subway did this. You should take one shot and only one shot. Consumers don't have patience to see the same company appear again and again. They want it right off the bat. They want it successful.
I get that.
Can we ask, wait, did you test the GoDaddy ad where Bar Raffaele was kissing that younger man, so the nerdier individual was kind of the... What was
I the only one grossed out by that ad? I just did a big ew watching that.
You and about 111 million other people. Women, the guys went ew, and the women said this is just offensive. And GoDaddy does it every year because we're talking about GoDaddy on this show.
So is it a win for them,
so they
even
think
though
it's
people
a win
are
for
grossed
them.
out?
But women, every year they do something to offend women.
Look at the female, though, Frank. Look at the female reaction. They took a deep dive.
They took a deep dive. They were grossed out by it.
Did the blackout affect the ads, do you think?
I think that if you were in a group viewership, you bought enough food and drink to last 4 hours. So blackouts don't upset them. But if you are a pair of people watching it on TV, at the 30-minute mark, that's when people start to turn it off. Because we're so conditioned to television, if it goes beyond 30 minutes, we're turning the channel.
I don't know. I think the numbers are going to be big for this one, though.
Because it was one of the greatest second halves in football history. I just wish the ads were as good as the game.
Frank, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.